do it after. They're going to have to wait. I'm just going to start with my name and title first. Thank you. Can you guys hear me okay? 30 seconds. Thank you all for being here. My name is Aaron McCarter, Aviation Accident Investigator, National Transportation Safety Board based out of Washington, D.C. My name is spelled Aaron, Aaron. Last name is McCarter, that's MC, capital CARTER. I was launched yesterday afternoon around 4 p.m. when I received word that there was a plane crash here in Franklin, Tennessee. The accident occurred on May 15th, 2024, about 12:01 p.m. local time. A beach B Victor 35, common name Bonanza, registration number November 47 Whiskey Tango, departed Louisiana Regional Airport at 08:50 a.m. Central Daylight Time. It was en route to Louisville, Kentucky. LOU is the airport identifier. While approaching Franklin, Tennessee, the airplane descended from about 10,000 feet down to about 7,800 feet. The ground speed of the airplane increased as well as its rate of descent. Shortly thereafter, credible witnesses that we've already spoken with described the airplane as being an approximate level attitude with both wings folding backwards and the airplane going violently out of control. ADS-B or radar data was lost at about 4,500 feet. The wreckage was scattered over a half-mile radius area off of this road here in Franklin County. A lot of the wreckage is widely dispersed, very indicative of an in-flight breakup. So one of the things that the NTSB that I request from those of you who are watching and listening is we are very interested in any doorbell cameras, whether you heard it or saw the accident take place, any doorbell cameras, any motor vehicle cameras. If you witnessed it, if you're an eyewitness, please report that information to witness@ntsb.gov. That's witness@ntsb.gov. Unfortunately, 3 people on board were fatally injured: the pilot, the 2 passengers, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the families and friends of those involved. Now, the process, we're going to be on scene here for the next 24 to 48 hours. Due to the disposition of the wreckage, we're going to be transporting it up to a secured facility in Springfield, Tennessee. In fact, the salvage team, aircraft recovery team, is already here. They are out with a group of local responders who are assisting with the wreckage gathering because it is widely dispersed. We have hilly terrain, we have water, we have flat terrain, we have farmland, and we're having to gather all those separate pieces and take them and put them together, basically a 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional layout on the hangar floor tomorrow or Saturday, which will help us determine how the airplane came apart. I would like to I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the outstanding support that I received on scene. This is almost unprecedented. I want to thank the Williamson medical team, the fire rescue team, the Williamson County Sheriff's Office, and the Williamson Emergency Management, and of course the federal park rangers, because part of the wreckage land on federal forest land behind us. Myself, the engine manufacturer, the airplane manufacturer from Textron and Continental are here, as well as FAA Nashville. In addition, I have drone support from another member of the NTSB staff who arrived here this morning, and he's operating a drone to help map the wreckage. In the course of the next 10 days, I will have a preliminary report that's finished. Now, it's 10 days from when I leave the scene, not 10 days from today. And then within 9 months to 12 months, a factual report will be generated, and shortly thereafter, a brief and a probable cause signed off by the NTSB board members. That being said, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. That's a very good question. What caused an airplane to break up like this? What are the possibilities? Well, it's not just for this accident, but on all accidents. We look at the human, the machine, and the environment. And we say that a lot because it's really what we look at. The human being and the pilot, his or her qualifications, how many hours they have, how much experience they have in the airplane itself, the environment, the weather, air traffic control. And in this case, yesterday, we do have reports of some minor convective activity that was starting to form because some pretty heavy rain showers started here immediately after the accident. So we do know that if weather didn't cause the accident, weather was a factor in the accident. Whether it caused it or not is too soon to tell. But we didn't know weather was here. And then, of course, we look at the technical aspects of the airplane, horsepower, fuel, there's plenty of fuel on board, the engineering aspects. We'll look at any kind of airworthiness directives or advisory circulars that were made on behalf for this airplane. So all three of those things form a much larger holistic picture that we're going to be looking at. We're going to combine those things. So a lot of the work is going to happen behind the scenes. This is actually a very small part of a larger holistic process. Once we get back to headquarters, I'll be looking at radar data, weather data. I've already had those studies ordered. I will also be looking at data. Now, this airplane doesn't have a black box per se, but there is data on board the flight instrumentation, and we were fortunate enough to get 2 data cards out of the wreckage today. Whether or not there's data on them remains to be seen, but I'm hopeful that once we get that information back to the labs, they'll be able to download it and decipher. The autopilot, whether it was on or being used, it would be too soon to speculate. We don't know that yet. Okay, but once we get into the wreckage, really into the wreckage, again, doing an investigation like this with the wreckage it's not very conducive for a thorough investigation because how dispersed the wreckage is. We'll have a much better view once we get the airplane back to the salvage company up in Springfield, where we will essentially put the airplane back together, and then we'll start dissecting the parts out of it, whether or not the autopilot was on, wasn't functioning, wasn't working at all, things of that nature. I could only hazard a guess. I'd probably say about 75% of the wreckage we have. We're still looking for some pieces, but we have a team of about 15 people out there right now, 15 or 20 out there going. We're looking for all of it, all of it. Now, I found all 4 corners. That means we found the tail, both of the stabilizers, and we found both wings, and we have a majority of the fuselage. So having all of those parts in the immediate vicinity of the wreckage is going to yield a lot of clues as to what happened. Well, this is 1966, but don't let that fool you. Their airplanes, their lifespan is quite more substantial than a car's lifespan because of the maintenance involved in keeping these things airworthy. So it's not unusual to have an airplane from the 60s or early 70s that was discontinued in the 80s to be flying around. Hundreds of them. And there are many of these airplane types that are out there that are flying. It makes it difficult to do a thorough field examination because the pieces are so spread far apart. We're looking at a radius of about half a mile to 3/4 of a mile in multiple directions in a fan-like pattern going in this way. So, and there's a lot of woods, farmland around here, so it's going to take a while, but we have a good team that's on it. There was no indication that the airplane was going to be stopping anywhere before. From what I understand, Louisville was the final destination. There was plenty of fuel on board to continue the flight to Louisville. Uh, that I couldn't answer that question. There's a lot of fuel that is still in the wing tanks, which is good. So the wing tanks were not compromised except for where they separated from the fuselage. So most of the fuel that we have on scene stayed in the tanks. Now there was obviously some residual fuel because there was a smell of fuel, there was some light on some of the foliage, which tells us that fuel was involved. But I don't believe a tremendous amount escaped. But in any case, the team is here to do a proper clean. I have time for two more questions. Okay, hearing none, I'm going to step aside a second. If you have any questions for the local authorities, now's your time.
We will release that information at some point. I'm not sure exactly when that will be released, but I would expect the family during the time we decided to not release those names. As far as we know, the Bates family has been notified and is aware of the situation. Okay. Well, I guess first off, I want to thank our state, our local, and our federal partners in this event. This is something that the sheriff's office cannot handle by itself. We have, like NTSB, we have NTSB, we have FAA, we have federal parks. Of course, the sheriff's office, Williamson County Emergency Management, Williamson County Medical Services, Williamson County Fire. Also have a dive team from the city of Franklin that has been assisting with some of the recovery that's in a small lake located here close to where we're at today. Our prayers and our thoughts go out to the family of this tragic loss. I have been in contact with their family, and I know this is very devastating for them, which is the main reason we're not releasing the names of those people. Um, Things like this happen, and it's unfortunate, but having a good team of people, be able to volunteer state, everybody jumping in and working together, it makes things go a whole lot easier. I'm not sure exactly what their total in plan was. Haven't been made aware of any of that. It would just be speculation at this point. Well, fortunately, this is not something we experience quite often. It's like any other emergency type of situation, whether it be a tornado, an earthquake, a plane crash in this case. Our priorities are the same, and that priority is life and evidence. When we responded to this, it was to locate the wreckage, locate any survivors of the wreckage, of the crash, basically a search and rescue type of mission. Quickly upon arriving on the scene, we realized that it was going to be more of a search and recovery, which is unfortunate. But this is something that all of our law enforcement, all of our partners in this county and across the state train and plan for events like this. And it's just unfortunate, another part of the day. We good? Nothing from 17? Nothing from 4? Oh, 4? You're 4. 2. 2. All right, I'm done then. Thank you.